we're live streaming.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. How cool is this? So, we are live streaming on LinkedIn and YouTube, and I also believe on Facebook. And so, we are here today. I'm here with Amy Mervac and Dorsey Sherman, and we're here to talk about the resource retreat that is coming up on January 5th through the 7th in Three Rivers, Michigan. So before we get into talking about the retreat, let's do some introductions. Amy, would you go
Yeah,
first?
I will. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Mervac, and I'm a leadership coach and consultant, and one of the co-facilitators for this resourced retreat. And I'm based in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is just about 20 minutes from Three Rivers.
Okay, Dorsey.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Dorsey Sherman, and my company is called Model Consulting. And I'm also a leadership coach. Primarily, I work one on one with executives and leaders focused on their own personal growth and development, and um, also do some consulting around organizational development and improvement. So I'm excited to be here. And I live in Muskegon, Michigan, on the west side of Michigan, a couple hours from our destination in January.
And my name is Deandra Wardell. I am the owner of On to the Next One Consulting, and I specialize in working with organizations and individuals, helping them to accomplish their most audacious, their biggest, their wildest dreams. And I undergird that with continuous improvement, coaching, and my where my passion and heart is creating inclusive work environments where employees and team members can thrive. So there's a lot of emphasis and focusing on diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the workplace. And I'm excited to be sharing this virtual stage today with Amy and Dorsey. So let's get right into it. We've been planning and talking about this retreat for some time, and this great idea was inspired and, thought of by Amy. So, Amy, just go into some detail and tell us, how it is that you came up with this idea and what's the
Yeah.
inspiration for the retreat.
Yeah, I'd love to. So it was a lot come from conversations that I had with leaders in the summertime. So meeting with different leaders and HR professionals, and the kind of theme that was coming out was just how difficult of a time it has been for so long,
Mhm.
and how these leaders were concerned about their employees, and words like burnout, fatigue, overload, all of those themes were coming out. And as we talked about, okay, well, how do we support people right now? And it's not like we're at the end of this period of global pandemic. A lot of the leaders shared that we've kind of forgotten how to stop and pause, because it's been a
Mhm.
necessity. We've had to be in this mode of response. So, and it's become harder to kind of move away from that and do more of the restorative practices that help us be better at work in the long run. So when we
Mhm.
started talking about, well, what does this space look like, the idea of a retreat really resonated with people, and having that facilitation and that support that could both prompt self-reflection and also connection with others who are having a similar experience, hearing other people's stories, sharing your own, and really taking this time to reflect about what we've learned and use that reflection as kind of this stimulus, or this way of also then looking forward and saying, from this place, how do we move forward with resilience, with connection, with compassion? And so then I was thought, okay, who would I want to do this kind of thing with? And instantly, Deandra and Dorsey both came to mind. Deandra brings a wealth of HR experience in particular, that I thought was so important in talking with these professionals through the summertime. And Dorsey, with her organizational development knowledge and real focus on authentic leadership, that really seemed like a perfect fit there too. And the three of us, we've known each other for many years now.
Mhm.
So I just thought, oh my gosh, I would love to work with these two on bringing this type of thing into the world.
Amy, that was like when I remember when you contacted me, I was so excited. I thought, what a great idea. And you touched on why the three of us, our strengths and what we all can bring to this event. Dorsey, I'm curious to hear from you when you received the call from Amy and when you learned that the three of us will be working together. What were some of your thoughts about, the strengths and what it is that we have to bring and share for this retreat?
Oh, I mean, of course, I immediately said yes. I thought it was a completely brilliant idea.
Mhm.
And I think I was describing this last week as like we're all, we all have similar strengths and similar backgrounds, but all a little bit different. And so we complement each other really well. Um, we all have a continuous improvement background. And I
Mhm.
think in this space that really helps with kind of a structure and like understanding a certain approach to how you think about things and how we think about problems and opportunities. But then as well, we all bring something a little bit different. I mean, I'm so excited, Deandra, for your work on your vision boards and all the facilitation you've done in that respect of helping people really imagine what's possible. And Amy, your work in that space as well, on top of your work around mindfulness and meditation and how you've kind of brought that into your continuous improvement work and your coaching work. And then I think for me, what I was excited about is my one on one clients that I have for coaching. I just continue to be shocked by how people don't have space for
Mhm.
reflection. They don't have, um, they always say, gosh, it feels so good to think out loud, to think about these questions. I've never really thought about like what my values are or like their how my values are being expressed day to day or what's really important, and I'm just so busy, like Amy was saying. That's the sense I get from clients and just people I know, is just this busyness, and that chronic stress of the
Mhm.
busyness really keeps us from kind of being in our full capability. So um, I think this is a space to like recharge and reconnect and refocus and get back in touch with what's important, especially going into 2022.
Absolutely. And we have one person who's attending. There's a comment in the chat that says, "Sounds like you're planning an awesome event," and I absolutely agree. And what I would like to add, although this is an opportunity for professional development, and the target audience is, for women in business, women leaders. But I to bring this home and make this personal, as a business owner and with a small team, having the resources in terms of the relationship with Amy and the relationship with Dorsey, where I can bounce ideas off of you all, and that helps to spark creativity, and it gets me thinking and how we can experiment and test things together. And then what we've all experienced with the past year and a half or so, with just the ups and downs and the mountains and valleys of life, having people who are also in the industry, also who are leading businesses, to understand the excitement and the challenges that we experience, and we can use one another for a sounding board. I want everyone else to have that same experience that I have with the both of
Mm,
you. I want others to have that opportunity, and just for people to be able to glean, the participants to be able to glean what we've experienced, not only as we've been preparing for this event, but like you said earlier, Amy, our relationship spans over several years. And, we're bringing all of that knowledge, all of that expertise, all of those experiences into this space. And this retreat, I think it's going to be something that's super, super special.
Mhm.
So, let's get into the retreat itself, the logistics. What is it about where we'll be gathering at the Gilchrist Retreat Center? Amy, I know you've been there a number of times, and what is it about this particular venue that is so special?
Yeah. Yeah. So Gilchrist was kind of a cornerstone in my head. And when I was picturing what this would look like, Gilchrist Retreat Center is a beautiful retreat center in Three Rivers, Michigan. It is made up of a kind of a berm in the middle with cabins, individual cabins around the outside of that space with that small hill in the middle. And so the individual cabins have full amenities in there. And then there's a retreat building called Wind Hill where we'll gather as a group and big ceilings and spaces. And Gilchrist is really a retreat center that it believes in the contemplative side of retreats. So this is a space people go to reflect. It's connected with the Fetzer Institute, if anybody is familiar with them. And next door to the Gilchrist Center is also another retreat center called the Hermitage. And some participants may be in rooms over there. Another beautiful location shares hiking trails with Gilchrist, and participants in either retreat center are able to hike all of those trails through grass, through woods. There's 2 walking labyrinths. It's a place I try to get there at least twice a year for my own personal retreats, and it's a very special place.
Great, great. So, thank you for sharing that. I know I'm excited about it. I have not been there before, but from looking at the pictures and hearing you talk about it, I know I can't wait. Yeah.
Same with me, Deandra.
Yeah. So, now we want to we have some questions coming in and we want to answer those before we wrap up here in a bit. One question we received is about COVID protocols. What will be done to ensure that the participants at the retreat are safe? So that's a great question. And, we've like I said, put a lot of thought into every detail because this will be a reflective retreat. We want people to be in a space where they don't have to worry or be concerned about their well-being. And so, one of the things that we've asked as to attend the retreat that participants are vaccinated. Secondly, we will, follow all of the CDC guidelines, all of the guidelines for the retreat center and the location in which we'll be gathering and practicing social distancing, not double handling any type of materials. We'll be washing our hands and we'll be masking. So we want and then two, it's a small group. There's a maximum attendee list of 12 people. Again, just making sure that we're keeping in mind to set the atmosphere so that everyone can get what it is we've intended for people to receive from this retreat and they walk away with a really great and positive experience. Okay. The second question that we have is that this resource retreat, would you consider it as a type of professional development?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that, Deandra.
Sure.
I would say yes. When we looked at designing this retreat, we looked to see what are the best practices in leadership. Nod to Dorsey, she may be able to speak to this as well, and around resilience, around how self-awareness can support both ourselves and the organizations that we serve or we lead. And these practices are becoming even more important.
Mhm.
And that is one of the lessons of the last 2 years, is
Mhm.
that in order to lead effectively, we need to be able to lead ourselves and others. And in order to do that, we need to be practicing these types of reflective skills, connecting skills, and really shifting into that human-centered leadership. So those principles are reflected in the design and what we'll be talking about at the retreats. So yes to professional development
Mhm.
and personal. Those two
Yeah.
are oftentimes the same thing.
Yes, yeah, good point. Good point, Amy. That just reminds me is when I do a values exercise with clients, they say, well, do you mean my work values or my personal values? And so that's always an interesting conversation. And so it's similar to your point about professional development versus personal development. I mean, what I always say is we're one person.
Hmm.
So usually, there's an intersection there.
Absolutely. And there is, and it's difficult to split or compartmentalize ourselves. That there is that opportunity for the professional development and the personal development, but this is definitely heavily focused on that professional development aspect.
Mhm.
Again, where it talks about creating this environment where we're not in silos and where we're having just that support and that community and those resources to help us to reconnect and what it is that we want to focus on in the months and years ahead. Okay. Another question that we have is I've never attended a retreat before. What is it that I should expect? And, um, what will be the atmosphere for, someone who has not previously attended any type of an in person retreat? Amy, can you answer that one?
Sure. So the retreat, if this is your first retreat that or this type of event, yes, please consider coming. No experience necessary with a retreat format, and we have built in all along the way opportunities to explain, set expectations, um, kind of the facilitation throughout will give you all of the support you need. There will be lots of opportunities to provide feedback, but it's invitation only. So everything we do is invitation only, and you can share or you can listen. Both are valuable things to do in connection with others. The first night of the retreat, we gather in the evening time, and that time is really going to be spent around explaining the arc of the retreat and helping set those initial expectations and getting input from the group. What do they need in order to feel supported and ready to go with the retreat? So we've got the three of us here have I'm going to say decades of experience in
Mhm.
facilitation, and you will be in good hands.
Absolutely. Dorsey, do you have anything to add?
No, I think I would just add, there's a lot of time and space. I mean, there's definitely the way even the residential part, the accommodations are set up. There's definitely time to be alone. There's time to be in
Mhm.
nature. There's time to come together to share if you feel comfortable, but also time for solitude. I mean, I really do feel like it's a break, and a time to just kind of focus on yourself and what's important to you. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. And um, as you know, both personally and professionally,
Yeah.
as a break.
Well, I've been saying this, to you and to my circles and anyone who I talk to. January 5th just cannot get here quick enough. The retreat will take place from January 5th through the 7th. That may seem like a really long time, but really it isn't. The event will start that evening, the 6th, which is a full day that we'll be together, and then on the 7th there's a half day of activities. And what we'll do is we will. I've shared here in the chat the link to the brochure where you can click on it. You can see the agenda and what to expect. And the other thing, too, we're offering early bird pricing that ends today. So if you have any additional questions, I don't see any more questions coming in the chat. But if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Amy, Dorsey, or myself. We'll be happy to answer those. And then, of course, we ask that you thumb through that brochure and make the decision to hashtag get resourced and join us at the resource retreat. So, on behalf of Amy, Dorsey, and I, we thank you for gathering with us today, and we look forward to seeing you in January. Take care, everyone.
I
Bye, everybody.
Bye.